The most important relationship you'll ever have in your life isn't the one with your partner, family, or friends. It's the one with yourself. Because every failure, every missed opportunity, every lack of self-confidence, and every "I settled for less than I deserved" moment stems from the same fundamental truth. You don't truly love yourself. Most people spend their entire lives seeking love, approval, and acceptance from others. But eventually, they realize that the love they seek must come from within, not from the outside world. Outside approval is never enough. Because if a person doesn't love themselves, no amount of attention can fill the void within. The secret of successful people: unwavering self-love. Those who are truly strong, confident, resilient, and who seize the right opportunities in life know one thing better than others. Self-love is an art. Self-love isn't a superficial motivational post on Instagram. It's a scientifically supported model of a deep, unwavering, and transformative inner connection. By the time you finish this chapter, you'll understand why most people struggle with self-love and how building an unbreakable relationship with yourself can be the most powerful force you can wield in your life. It's not just about feeling good. It's about rebuilding yourself. It's a transformation that fundamentally impacts success, self-confidence, and happiness by changing the way your brain works. The hidden epidemic. The disease of self-love. 85% of people live in self-rejection. Recent studies show that over 85% of people have low self-esteem. Many of these people spend their lives rejecting their own identities. They don't love themselves. They don't trust their own opinions. They don't know how to love themselves at all. And the greatest tragedy is this: they don't even recognize it as a problem. They constantly blame their life's problems on external factors: people, luck, money, circumstances. But they completely ignore the fundamental inner connection: your inner enemy, your own voice. Imagine someone like this: someone who constantly criticizes you, points out your mistakes, and tells you you're never good enough. Would you want to spend time with this person? Would you trust their judgment? This is exactly how most people treat themselves. The voice in their head is more destructive than even the most ruthless enemy. We forgive others for their mistakes, but we punish ourselves for our own past for years. The consequences of this internal struggle are severe. Staying in toxic relationships, settling for less than you deserve, working hard but never feeling like we're enough, withdrawing when opportunities arise, being unable to say no, perfectionism, self-sabotage, constantly seeking approval from others. All of this has one root: a lack of self-love. According to your brain, self-love is a need, not a luxury. The brain responds to self-love. When you think positively about yourself, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin. These are the hormones of happiness and satisfaction. So, self-love isn't just a psychological state. It's a measurable brain chemical. People who practice self-compassion experience increased emotional regulation, strengthened resilience, easier stress management. Why is self-criticism so painful? Self-criticism activates the brain's physical pain centers. That's why we describe heartbreak as pain. Your brain processes physical and emotional threats the same way. Therefore, attacking yourself creates the same stress in your mind as being chased by an attacker. These include impairs decision-making skills, kills creativity, inhibits strategic thinking, keeps you constantly alert. No one can be happy, thrive, or develop with such a mindset. Neuroplasticity, reprogramming the brain. The good news is, the brain can change. Each new, self-compassionate thought creates new neural connections. Every time you talk to yourself compassionately, your brain creates new pathways for self-acceptance. With repeated self-love becomes automatic. Mirror neurons. Self-compassion equals compassion for others. People who treat themselves well are more likely to treat others well. This strengthens social bonds, increases a sense of belonging, and makes people happier. Left. Prefrontal cortex. Life's step-by-step ascension. Center. In people who practice self-acceptance, the areas of the brain associated with positive emotions and motivation become more active. So, a person who loves themselves is more assertive, more courageous, more optimistic, more resilient. Chapter 2. The true home of self-love in the brain. Self-love is often said to be a luxury, a fad, or simply positive thinking. But science shows the opposite. Neuroimaging studies of the brain show that self-directed love is a natural force that activates the same regions responsible for emotional intelligence, decision-making, and emotional resilience. Even more impressive, when you love yourself, the nurturing systems in your brain are activated. The same neural networks are activated when a mother soothes her child and when you show yourself compassion. Therefore, self-love is the power to create within yourself the warmth your family cannot give you. And this is not a luxury. It is a biological necessity. When you love yourself, your brain creates the ideal chemical environment for peak performance, resilience, and happiness. 2. Childhood. The seeds of self-rejection. Every human being comes into the world with an inherent sense of self-worth. Babies don't question their right to exist. They want things. They say things. They cry. They laugh. They're not ashamed to be who they are. We naturally love ourselves. But as adults, we criticize ourselves harshly, questioning our worth. The answer lies in our early programming. Every look, every sentence, every criticism. Your parents, even if well-intentioned, transmitted their own wounds to you. If love was performance-based, you learned to believe, if I'm successful, I'm valuable. If your feelings were belittled, you learned to suppress them. If you were told you were too sensitive, too much, you learned to despise yourself. Some of you learned that love is dangerous. If you have caregivers who are both loving and painful, love and fear are simultaneously etched in your mind. All of this shapes your nervous system. And years later, even in safe environments, it keeps you on edge. So, the real reason you reject yourself isn't your fault. These are adaptive strategies you developed in early childhood to survive. 3. The invisible effect of cultural stereotypes. Society also taught you who you should be. Men were taught to suppress their emotions. Women were told that anger was unbecoming. The school system rewarded conformity and punished difference. Some religious and spiritual interpretations labeled you as innately flawed. All these messages created a profound conflict within you. Your true self and who you were meant to be. That hurtful inner voice, the constantly judging critic. This is not you. The combined effect of all the criticisms from your past. 4. The hidden root of shame and perfectionism. Shame is the darkest fuel of self-rejection. It's not about what you've done. It's about feeling bad about who you are. If a child is constantly made to feel wrong, incomplete, or not enough, two things will happen in adulthood. Either they hide their identity behind perfection, or they feel guilty about expressing their own needs. Perfectionism isn't actually a success strategy. It's a survival mechanism born from the shame you felt as a child. And this mechanism will slowly eat away at you as an adult. 5. External approval addiction, the invisible prison. One of the greatest enemies of self-love is seeking external approval. And in the modern world, this addiction is more prevalent than ever. If your sense of worth depends on the opinions of others, likes on social media determine your mood, you feel compelled to consult multiple people before making decisions. It becomes difficult to say no. You forget yourself in your efforts to please others. External approval works like dopamine. It provides a brief moment of happiness, but its effect wears off quickly, and you want more. That's why people constantly strive to be more successful, to look more beautiful, to be appreciated more. But the void inside them is never filled, because the real problem isn't failure. It's the dependence of self-worth on external factors. And this dependency silences your own intuition, your own judgment, your true self. You begin to organize your life not for yourself, but for others to follow. 6. True freedom, returning to your inner compass. The good news is, the brain can change. Thanks to neuroplasticity, what you learned in your early years is not your destiny. You can become a new parent to yourself. You can give yourself a love you've never experienced before. You can gradually let go of your dependence on external validation and place your self-love within, not outside. True self-love begins the moment you can say, "I am enough just because I exist." And that's when the direction of your life begins to change. Chapter 3. Inner approval. Hunger, why we reject ourselves. Most of us don't show ourselves as we truly are throughout our lives. Trapped between societal expectations and our own inner voice, we hide our true selves to fit in. We suppress our unique, different, or potentially controversial qualities. Over time, this masked life creates an invisible fragmentation. We reject ourselves and begin to feel worthless. And to fill this void, we cling to any external praise, recognition, and approval. But here's the problem. You can't fill a bucket with a hole in it. No amount of external praise or approval can replace self-acceptance. 2. Learning the difference between appreciation and approval. Real change begins with understanding the difference between these two concepts. Appreciation means being grateful to others, but not relying on external sources of your worth. Approval addiction, on the other hand, is needing others to see you positively in order to feel good about yourself. Compliments are the sweetest thing in the world, but being dependent on them makes life miserable. True self-love is the ability to feel valued regardless of whether others value you. 3. Inner validation, the way to take back your power. Cultivating inner validation means learning to be your own champion. It means celebrating your successes, appreciating your efforts, and feeling proud of yourself, even if others notice. This isn't arrogance. On the contrary, healthy self-love makes you more open to constructive criticism because no feedback threatens your self-worth. A person who loves themselves doesn't take anything personally. They don't feel wronged. They feel, evaluate, and act in alignment with their own values. This initiates a major transformation. Instead of asking, "What will people think?" you start asking, "What is right for me?" 4. From false self to freedom. Revealing your true self takes courage, because external validation can weaken you. Some people may not like your true self, but let me tell you the truth. Those who love your false self never loved you. Those who accept you for who you are will shine in your life. When you break free from approval addiction, you regain your emotional strength. No one's mood can control your self-worth, and you begin to see yourself as an adult within. This is one of the most powerful steps towards self-love. 5. The self-love foundation system. Now that we've identified the obstacles, it's time to create the solid foundation upon which lasting self-love will be built. This system is built on 4 main pillars: self-awareness, self-acceptance, self-compassion, self-care. These pillars support and strengthen each other, leading you to an unshakable inner balance. 6. Self-awareness. You can't love yourself without knowing yourself. In fact, many people are strangers to themselves. They don't truly recognize their feelings, thoughts, reactions, and habits. Life is lived through automatic patterns, not conscious choices. Self-awareness means being an observer of your own experience. Ask yourself these questions throughout the day. How does my inner voice speak to me? How do I respond to failure? What emotions trigger me? What habits drag me down, and which ones sabotage me? Without this awareness, self-love is impossible. 7. Self-acceptance, embracing both your light and your shadow. Self-acceptance doesn't mean I love myself, I am complete. It means I accept myself as I am, without hiding my flaws. The more you reject your human side, the more power you give it. But when you recognize and accept it, your power to make conscious choices returns. The exercise of radical acceptance is a powerful tool here. Looking in the mirror and saying, "I accept myself as I am right now," is far more transformative than you might think. Don't forget to accept your past too. Your mistakes don't define you. Holding on to them imprisons you. 8. Self-compassion, silencing the inner critic. Self-compassion means stopping beating yourself up for mistakes and showing yourself the kindness you would show a friend. When you experience a setback, ask yourself, what do I really need right now? Perhaps a moment of rest, perhaps a word of encouragement, perhaps an acknowledgement of your difficulty. This is a difficult moment. Pain is part of being human, and I can be kind to myself. Even this sentence begins to calm your nervous system. Remember that the words you use shape your mind. 9. Self-care, the action of self-care. True self-care is making conscious decisions that nourish your body, mind, spirit, and emotions. Properly nourishing, moving, and resting your body. Setting emotional boundaries. Nurturing your mind with positive content. Nurturing your spiritual side, regardless of your beliefs. Saying no to those who drain your energy. Chapter 4. Silence your inner critic forever. The path to true self-love. Your inner critic is perhaps the most destructive force preventing you from loving yourself. This voice in your head constantly judges, criticizes, and undermines your self-confidence. Thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," "I'm not smart enough," "I'm not successful enough," remind you of every mistake you've made and consume you like a harbinger of future failures. It's common to mistake this voice for your own thoughts, your own reality. But here's what you need to know. Your inner critic isn't you. It's a mechanism from your past, designed to protect you, but now sabotaging your happiness. It usually develops in childhood to protect itself from criticism. If you grew up in an environment where criticism was prevalent, your brain learned to criticize itself first. The logic was simple. If I identify my flaws, I can fix them before others do and avoid rejection. Over time, this self-criticism evolved into a strategy for belonging and survival. In performance-based environments of love and approval, your brain learns that anything less than perfect is dangerous. The inner critic becomes the enforcer of these impossible standards. It constantly pushes you to do better, but also tells you that your efforts aren't enough. Society also feeds this voice. The unrealistic standards imposed by social media and our environment portray our perceived shortcomings as evidence of our inadequacy. The inner critic is acutely aware of our weaknesses and uses our deepest fears, past hurts, and greatest strengths to attack us. While sometimes disguised as motivation, research shows that inner criticism undermines motivation and creativity, increases anxiety, and fuels self-sabotage. When you constantly receive the message, "You're not good enough," you avoid taking risks and growing. You live in a paralyzed state, missing out on opportunities. Your inner critic then resorts to cognitive distortions, creating catastrophic scenarios, viewing every mistake as a personal failure, and constantly comparing others to itself. So, how can we silence our inner critic? First, accept them as a separate entity from your true self. Pay attention to their voice. Notice when they're harsh, critical, or discouraging. Give them a name. Even imagine them as a character. This helps create distance. Question the critic's words. Ask for proof when they say you're failing. Consider the possibilities when they predict disaster. And remember their perspective when they compare you to others. This approach diminishes the critic's power when you experience the reality behind the scenes. To cope with your inner critic, cultivate a compassionate inner voice. Show the kindness you would a friend in a difficult situation. Appreciate effort without judgment. Offer comfort during setbacks. Ask yourself, "What would I say to a close friend?" And say those words to yourself. Also, set boundaries between yourself and your inner critic. As you would with a toxic person, don't engage with or allow yourself to be distracted by their negative comments. Replace negative statements with neutral or constructive alternatives. Instead of saying, "I'm so stupid," say, "I'm trying." Instead of saying, "I'll never succeed," say, "Let's try." If your inner critic no longer serves you, gently let it go. You might say, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm getting used to it." Meditation and mindfulness practices are very helpful in this process. They allow you to observe your thoughts without obsessing over them. The goal isn't to eliminate all critical thoughts, but to transform them into kind and constructive feedback. Emotional awareness is also the foundation of self-love. Most people are conditioned to view certain emotions as negative or dangerous. Therefore, they suppress, ignore, or judge them. However, emotions carry information about our needs, boundaries, and values. Anger indicates that something important is under threat. Sadness signals loss and the need for healing. Fear warns of potential danger, and joy shows that we are aligned with our values. Notice your emotions, name them, and practice the RAIN technique. Recognize, tolerate, explore, and accept without defining them. Examine the emotion with curiosity and compassion, noticing how it feels in your body. You are not your emotions. Your awareness observes them. Emotional regulation isn't about controlling emotions, but about responding to them skillfully. Anger can be experienced without depression. Fear can be recognized without panic. Chapter 5. Self-transformation and self-love. Emotions provide information, but you choose action. Develop a toolbox for healthy emotional regulation. Deep breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, helping you respond rather than react. Physical movement helps you metabolize stress. Journaling makes it easier to understand and process your emotions. Creative expression allows emotions to move through you constructively. Learn to cope with uncomfortable emotions rather than avoid them. Our culture teaches us to avoid discomfort, but this only increases the pain and inhibits natural healing. When you can deal with difficult emotions, they often pass more quickly and completely. Learn to relax emotionally. Learn to soothe yourself. Get a massage. Engage in gentle movements. Listen to soothing music and soften your self-talk. This will also help you provide yourself with the comfort you seek from others but don't receive. Develop emotional boundaries. Don't experience others' emotions as your own. Empathic people often find this difficult, but learning to distinguish between your own emotions and those of others is crucial for emotional clarity and self-love. Remember, the belief that you should only feel positive emotions is false. Negative emotions are not failures or weaknesses. They are part of the human experience. Be kind to yourself when you feel anger, sadness, or fear. Emotions, like the weather, come, peak, and pass. Instead of suppressing them, allow them to flow naturally. Healthy emotional expression also includes setting boundaries. It's important to ask for support when you're angry or upset, and take protective measures when you're afraid. This honors both your own needs and the needs of others. If you learn to be compassionate with yourself, you can achieve emotional integration and true self-love. Self-love and relationships. When you cultivate true self-love, your relationships are instantly transformed. You set healthier boundaries, build genuine connections, and stop using relationships as a means to fill the void. If you can't love yourself without being critical, demanding, or unforgiving, those around you are likely limiting you in the same way. Self-love allows you to enter relationships as a whole person, not as a deficient individual. You bring gifts, love, and joy to share. You act with generosity and love instead of fear. This also strengthens your ability to be vulnerable. If you don't feel safe, you won't feel safe around others. Healthy boundaries protect you and teach you how to behave in relationships. You learn to say no and invest your energy and time in the right places. With self-love, conflict in your relationships becomes an opportunity for growth, not a threat. You can share your true thoughts and feelings without judgment. When you love yourself, the fear of loneliness disappears. You avoid destructive or toxic relationships and spend time with people who add value to your life. This natural process of sorting can be challenging at first, but it eventually leads to a social circle that truly supports and accepts you for who you are. Self-love and success. Most people think they must achieve success before they can love themselves. However, true self-love is the foundation of sustainable success. When you love yourself, you make decisions based on a strong perspective, not fear. You take risks, embrace challenges, and know that your value is not tied to the outcome. Self-love transforms a scarcity mindset into an abundance mindset. You celebrate the successes of others. You collaborate instead of compete. You believe you deserve it and fulfill your commitments to yourself. In this way, you build a successful and fulfilling life, both in the short and long term. Truly loving yourself liberates you in both your relationships and your professional life. Instead of struggling to survive, you can build a meaningful, healthy, and fulfilling life. Self-love is the foundation for loving others better and forging genuine closeness. Chapter 6: Successfully Coping with Challenges and Cultivating Self-Love Practices. Life is sometimes full of unexpected challenges and adversities. When dealing with these challenges, the stories you tell yourself are far more effective than enduring pain out of guilt or obligation. Whether you view your struggles as personal failures or as opportunities for growth and resilience, profoundly impacts your ability to maintain self-love. Whether you see yourself as a victim of a difficult situation or as someone who bravely struggles determines your emotional experience and your ability to approach yourself with compassion. You may have made mistakes or poor decisions. You may have spoken out of anger, made choices based on fear, or fallen short of your standards during stressful times. All of this is part of being human. Self-love means accepting these flaws without shame or self-condemnation. Healing processes are not linear. Hard days can follow good ones, and periods of progress can be followed by setbacks. This doesn't mean failure. Self-love is about patiently facing these ups and downs and finding meaning in your struggles. Learn to see your challenges as opportunities that can contribute to your growth, knowledge, and capacity to help others. According to Viktor Frankl's research, those who find meaning in their suffering are more resilient and heal faster. Seeking professional support during difficult times is part of self-love. Seeking therapy or counseling is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. Just as you would go to the doctor for a broken bone, mental and emotional wounds deserve professional care. Life's storms offer opportunities to deepen, rather than destroy, your self-love. Every challenge strengthens your self-love and your confidence to cope with life. At this point, self-love ceases to be a practice and becomes a way of being that allows you to face whatever life throws at you. Now let's go a little further. Advanced self-love practices. These go beyond basic self-care and positive thinking. Accepting and integrating aspects of yourself that you deny or hide is known as shadow work. We all have aspects we find unacceptable or shameful. Anger, sensitivity, or ambition. Denying these aspects leads to internal conflict and self-sabotage. Shadow work involves accepting these aspects with compassion and finding healthy ways to express them. The qualities you judge harshly in others are often aspects you reject in yourself. These triggers guide you to a better understanding of yourself. Learning to love your imperfections creates a deep sense of self-acceptance and allows you to appreciate your unique humanity. Develop self-love also involves actively caring for and taking care of yourself. Every day, you can place your hand on your heart and say simple but powerful affirmations like, "May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful." Regularly celebrating your successes and efforts strengthens your self-confidence. Working with your body is also important. Practices like yoga, breathing exercises, dance, or massage can help you release accumulated tension and trauma. Embody your self-confidence through your posture, eye contact, and speech. When you feel loved and respected, you begin to feel the same within yourself. In short, self-love is not just an emotion. It is a force that transforms your life, making you strong and balanced. By facing challenges, accepting your shadow self, and supporting your body, you can develop true self-confidence and an unwavering sense of inner balance. This is a critical foundation for both success and life satisfaction. Chapter 7: Enhanced Self-Love and Boundary-Based Happiness in Romantic Relationships. Values-based decision-making empowers you to make choices in your life that align with your true self. When you truly love yourself, your decisions are based on things that respect your values, support your growth, and serve you. This may mean disappointing others, taking risks, or choosing unconventional paths, but it leads to true fulfillment and success. Coping with emotional discomfort, a skill psychologists call distress tolerance, strengthens your ability to cope with whatever life throws at you. Facing difficult emotions, rather than avoiding them, builds inner strength and resilience. Embrace radical responsibility. You may not be able to control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. This builds personal initiative and self-confidence. The most advanced practice is to become your own source of approval and love. By ceasing to seek approval from others, you understand the value of your own efforts and freely pursue your dreams. This inner self-efficacy creates a magnetic sense of self-confidence. When you make peace with your shadows and flaws, external criticism, failure, or rejection won't affect you. And one of the most challenging areas, romantic relationships and dating. The desire for love and connection is so strong that many people lose themselves in their search for romantic validation. They ignore their values, tolerate mistreatment, and compromise their identities. Practicing self-love in romantic relationships requires conscious boundaries and genuine awareness. When you learn to love yourself, you can approach relationships from a perspective of abundance, not scarcity. You come to the table as a whole person. The relationship exists to support your growth, not to fill your voids. This energy shift is attractive. People are naturally drawn to those who are at peace with themselves and not dependent on others. Self-love means knowing and maintaining your boundaries in dating and relationships. Be clear about what behaviors you won't accept. Express your needs honestly. Instead of creating a fake version to please others, reveal your true self. Being rejected for who you truly are is better than being accepted as a fake version. This is the key to building lasting and healthy bonds. Additionally, maintaining your individual identity is crucial. Maintain your relationship without sacrificing your hobbies, friends, and goals. Creating beautiful things together involves exploring different facets and supporting each other's growth. Clearly, express your needs through conscious communication and don't try to change your partner. Accept them as they are. Self-love allows you to set boundaries around behaviors that are harmful or contrary to your values. The ability to recognize flaws and character incompatibilities and to end the relationship when necessary is the ultimate expression of self-love in romantic relationships. Chapter 8: living a truly authentic life with radical self-acceptance and self-love. If you truly love yourself, your decisions are no longer made to impress others or meet societal expectations. From your career choices to your relationships, from your lifestyle to your goals, every step is shaped by what truly matters to you. This might mean choosing a low-paying but fulfilling job over a high-paying but challenging one, prioritizing creativity over self-confidence, or prioritizing relationships over achievement. These choices take courage. They might disappoint others, lead to deviations from established paths, and conflicts with family or societal expectations. But living authentically means trusting yourself enough to stay true to your own values, despite the risks involved. Authenticity involves sharing your true thoughts and feelings, rather than saying what you think others want to hear. Relationships are no different. Self-love means openly expressing your weaknesses, needs, and limitations. Instead of acting according to the expectations of others, relationships and opportunities that align with your true self naturally arise. This way, you attract people who truly appreciate you and situations that don't pressure you. Authenticity and self-love inspire others. Someone who boldly expresses their true self sets an example for others to discover and express their true nature. This doesn't mean being selfish or self-centered. Rather, it means living consciously, aware of the impact of your personality and your interactions with your environment. Over time, self-love creates a compounding effect. Just like financial investments, small daily practices can lead to big results. These changes, initially subtle, can initiate profound transformations in your life and relationships when practiced regularly. Through neuroplasticity, your brain rewires itself through repeated experiences. Every time you choose self-compassion over self-criticism, your neural pathways are strengthened. Setting healthy boundaries, practicing authentic expression, and self-worth build natural self-esteem and self-confidence over time. Anxiety and self-doubt diminish, and an inner sense of self-confidence emerges. This inner transformation is reflected in the external areas of your life. You make better decisions. You say no to depleting commitments and yes to energizing experiences. You eat healthier, exercise regularly, and embrace learning opportunities. Every good decision makes you feel more valued and empowered to make better decisions. Relationships also benefit from this compounding effect. With healthy boundaries and clear communication, harmful relationships naturally diminish, while valuable ones deepen. Your increased self-confidence is met with respect and care by your partners, friends, and colleagues. This boost also manifests in your professional life, increasing your opportunities to speak up in meetings, take on challenging projects, assume leadership roles, and negotiate better. Self-love also supports your physical health. When you value yourself, you naturally take better care of your body through nutrition, exercise, sleep, and stress management. This leads to sustained energy and fulfillment in all areas of life. Living authentically and achieving deep-rooted self-acceptance means letting go of others' expectations, expressing your true self, making authentic decisions, and valuing yourself. While this path may seem challenging at first, it ultimately creates a life that fulfills you internally and positively impacts the world around you. In summary, self-love and authenticity enable you to make decisions based on what you truly value, helps you connect with the right energies in your relationships and opportunities, inspires yourself and others. This combined effect creates positive transformation in every aspect of your life, strengthens your inner self, and healthy boundaries. Living authentically is a gift not only for yourself, but also for those around you. Because when you express your true self, you give others permission to do the same. This is the most powerful and fulfilling way to live. When the pressure comes, most people's minds fail, not their bodies. He freezes, panics, makes wrong decisions. Then he struggles with regrets and I wishes. But here's the basic truth you need to know. Pressure doesn't wear you out. Poor mental training wears out. Champions are not born with nerves of steel. They build them through conscious practice. If life is going to test you, you should be ready for it too. Preparation is the mind. Having a mind that knows what to think, how to breathe, how to heal. Oppression instantly breaks weak minds because they are uneducated. They spend their lives in the comfort zone, avoiding difficulties and not trying to face stress. The mind is like a muscle. If they don't exercise, they lose weight. Those who train physically but neglect mental toughness collapse at the moment of real risk. Panic is a process in which the amygdala steps in and suppresses logic. The heart beats faster, breathing becomes shorter, vision narrows, and thinking quickly becomes blurred. At this point, emotional reactions replace rational decisions. Another trap of weak minds is disaster scenarios. They turn internal dialogue into hostility by assuming the worst of every possibility. What if it doesn't happen? Instead of finding a solution, they are bombarded with questions and drowned. But instead of making the problem worse, champions are looking for solutions. They are process-oriented, focusing on the next right step, not the outcome. Instead of panicking, they ask, what is the smallest right step I can take right now? This simple question frees the mind from disaster and activates it. There's another cost to being unprepared, taking pressure personally. When they make a mistake, they feel their I is being attacked. Reputation, approval, egos come into play. Thus, appearance, not performance, becomes important. Champions understand failure is part of learning, not identity. Error is data, feedback, not personal destruction. This distinction eases the emotional burden and allows you to remain logical in times of pressure. Particularly important, the lack of a recovery system. When weak minds make mistakes, they gradually regress, adding error after error, and their ability to reset weakens. But prepared minds instantly reset. Deep breathing, short ritual, focus on the next step. These small protocols do not magnify the error, preserves performance. So how do champions do it? First of all, they do not see oppression as an enemy. They accept this as a test, even a privilege. Printing provides a high-performance environment, and succeeding here will set you apart from your competitors. That's why champions seek the challenge. They knowingly put themselves in high-risk situations, public speaking, difficult projects, competitive environments. These experiences accustom the mind to its own limits. Another element is mental rehearsal. In training, they simulate the conditions on the field. They create artificial stress. They try to cope with unexpected disruptions. So when real stress comes, it feels familiar. Body and mind know what to do. This is where rituals come in. A series of short breaths before the race. The same 3-step control before the important decision. repeated body movements before kicking the ball. Rituals stabilize attention and trigger automatic performance. Physiological understanding is also important. Champions know that stress isn't that bad and that proper stimulation can improve performance. Some activations, mild adrenaline rush, increased heart rate, can be productive. The important thing is to relabel this as a preparation signal, not an attack signal. This labeling gives meaning to the warnings given by the body and increases performance. Daily practices are necessary to strengthen the mind in shortcuts. Here is a workable set. Mindfulness exercise. 3 to 5 times during the day, stop and ask, what am I thinking about right now? Ask, to ask, to ask, to ask, to ask, to ask. Label the thought, worry, plan, memory, etc., and return to your focus. This breaks the automatic panic cycle. Breathing protocol. Taking 4-4-8 breaths. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 8. When you feel pressure calms the nervous system. Stress rehearsal. Choose a challenging task once a week. Put time pressure. Simulate an uncomfortable situation. Then review your performance and make small corrections. Error. Reset. Create a short 3-step protocol to follow when you make a mistake. 1. Breathe quickly. 2. Say, "This is feedback," out loud. 3. Make the next small movement. This prevents the error vortex. Create a ritual. Develop your own short ritual for important moments. For example, 2 deep breaths, plus relaxed shoulders, plus a clear sentence. I'm making the next best move. As these are applied, the mind's resistance to pressure increases. Mental endurance increases. Part 2. Noticing the mental noise. When pressure mounts, most people don't even realize what's going on in their own minds. There are millions of people who don't hear their inner dialogue or understand how their thoughts affect their performance. But awareness is the first step to control. In moments of pressure, your mind goes on autopilot. Fears, doubts, and negative scenarios take over. If you don't recognize these, you can't change your behavior. So, when pressure mounts, the first thing you need to do is illuminate your mind. What's going through my mind right now? Perhaps it's the fear of failure. Perhaps it's the thought that others will judge you. Perhaps it's the doubt that I'm not good enough. Perhaps it's dark speculation about outcomes you can't control. Whatever happens, be aware. But most importantly, don't judge. Don't fight your thoughts. Don't try to suppress them. Just watch. Just like a movie. Because awareness is the key to unlocking control. Unless you see your thoughts, you can't change them. But the moment you notice them, your power to direct them begins. When under pressure, give your mind a task. What do I need to do right now? Instead of dwelling on outcomes and risks you can't control, focus on the steps you can control. This is the biggest secret of champions. Developing the process. They focus on execution, not the outcome. They don't think about winning. They think about technique. They don't think about the score. They focus on the next move. They don't think about the audience. They think about their breathing, their strategy, and the micro steps they need to take. And they support this with mental cues. These cues are short, thought-provoking phrases. Focus. One move. Trust the training. Breathe, execute. These short phrases shift the mind from one path to another during times of pressure. From chaos to focus. From panic to clarity. But for these phrases to work, they need to become habits learned during training. not during times of pressure. The mind hears these cues repeatedly and goes into autopilot when the pressure increases. This allows the mind, which has drifted into worst-case scenarios, to instantly return to center. Another effective way to train your mind under pressure is to reframe your emotions. Your heart might race, your hands might sweat, your breath might shorten. Weak minds interpret this as danger. Champions interpret it as preparation. They tell themselves, "My body is preparing. This energy will help me focus. I'm ready." The feelings are the same. It's the interpretation that makes the difference. This interpretation changes your reactions. It realigns your mind. Similarly, the thought-stopping technique used to stop distracting thoughts is effective. When your mind starts to wander, you tell yourself, "Stop." You immediately switch to a more productive thought. This is a reflex that strengthens with regular practice. Another distinguishing characteristic of champions is their ability to accept thoughts. They don't fight them, because every thought resisted becomes stronger. Instead, they accept mental noise as natural and let it pass without pursuing it. This way, they maintain control even when their mind wanders. They also utilize mental resources that instantly boost self-confidence during times of pressure. They recall a time when they previously succeeded under pressure, review their preparations, or recall past successes. These resources quickly strengthen the mind in moments of doubt. The mind is guided by powerful questions. Instead of saying, "I'm going to fail," they ask, "How can I perform at my best right now?" Or, "What's the best course of action in this situation?" These questions free the mind from fear of the future and force it to generate solutions. Champions know this. In times of pressure, the mind either jumps to the future or dwells on the past. What if I fail? What if previous mistakes repeat? These thoughts distract. In this way, they train their minds to stay present. This breath, this movement, this moment. Only this moment. Visualization is also part of this training. They rehearse not only success, but also challenges, obstacles, and unexpected mistakes. In this way, they emerge into the real world mentally prepared for every scenario. Their minds don't encounter surprises because they've seen it all before. The goal isn't to eliminate all negative thoughts. The goal is to monitor them and direct your focus in the right direction without letting them control you. The first step to keeping your mind strong in times of pressure is this: notice, observe, and guide. Make the mind a tool, not an enemy. And when pressure mounts, you control it, not the other way around. Chapter 3: Masters of Being Present, the Champion's Secret Weapon. When pressure mounts, most people's minds are pulled in two directions: past failures on one side, future possibilities on the other. This is why so many people under pressure lose their performance, because the only place where true performance takes place is the present moment. This is precisely where champions differ. They've trained their minds to focus on the present moment rather than stepping outside of time. Now, let's examine how they do this step by step. Routine, the fixed point in the chaos. True masters develop a specific routine for every pressure situation: a public speaking routine, a separate routine for performance, a different routine for high-stakes meetings. These routines are like a secret switch that resets a person's nervous system. Chaos may erupt around you. People may panic. The stakes may rise. But you have a ritual that cuts through all this chaos. This ritual is your most powerful weapon to prevent your performance from declining. Stopping the mind's time travel. When under pressure, the mind becomes a time machine of its own. What if I fail? I wish I hadn't done that last time. What will everyone say about me? All these thoughts tear you away from the present moment. But as soon as champions realize this, they do one thing. They call the mind back to the present moment. You can control what happens now. The future is just a guess. The past is the past. That's why champions direct all their energy to the present moment. Breath, the gateway to the present moment. Whenever the mind wanders, the breath brings you back here, because the breath is always in the moment. That's why champions use the breath as a remembrance when under pressure. Feel the air filling your lungs. Notice that brief pause, then let the breath flow. This is a natural anchor that frees your mind from future worries and anchors it in the moment. Sensory awareness, anchoring in reality. When pressure builds, your mind starts generating abstract thoughts. It's concerned with what might happen, not what's happening in the moment. Activating your senses in these moments recenters you. What are you seeing right now? What are you hearing? Can you feel the touch in your hands and body? Champion athletes regularly use this technique during breaks or critical moments. This allows the mind to shift from abstract fears to the real world. Breaking the task into smaller pieces. Thinking about the entire speech during a presentation can freeze your brain. Thinking about the final score of a race can crush you under the pressure. That's why champions break tasks down into chunks. First sentence, next move, next decision. This prevents the pressure from becoming overwhelming, because when you break a large task into smaller pieces, your mind stays focused. Spotlight technique, managing attention. Imagine your attention like a spotlight. Under pressure, this spotlight swings from side to side. When your mind wanders, your performance suffers. Champions consciously direct the spotlight to a single point. What do I need to do right now? The mind recognizes when it's wandering and brings the spotlight back to where it should be. They are masters of attention, not victims. Physical triggers, the key to returning to the present moment. Some athletes stamp their legs, some touch their equipment, some adjust their posture. These small movements are signals. Be in the moment. The body always draws the mind back to the present moment. Physical movement accelerates this. Process thinking. Don't let the outcome overwhelm you. Outcome-focused statements increase pressure. I must win this. I mustn't make mistakes. Champions instead use process statements. Stay upright. Control your breathing. Follow the action. Speak clearly. Results are achieved through the sum of these processes. Micro goals, focusing your mind on the present moment. Champions don't think about the big goal. They break it down into small, actionable goals. Hold your breath steady for 30 seconds. Do the next transition correctly. Say the next sentence clearly. These micro goals pull the mind from the distant future and anchor it in the present moment, making peace with uncertainty. Most people under pressure want to know the outcome. If they don't, they become anxious. Champions, on the other hand, recognize that uncertainty is a natural part of high risk. You can't control the outcome. You can only control the immediate actions that lead to the outcome. This awareness reduces the pressure. Don't judge your mind's wanderings. bring it back. Your mind will wander again. In fact, the more pressure you put on it, the more often it will wander. The key isn't to punish your mind for wandering. It's to gently bring it back, like calling a puppy. Every time it's brought back, yo. Chapter 4. Turn pressure into your fuel. Pressure. For most people, it's a threat, a feeling to be avoided, a suffocating burden. But for champions, it's a completely different feeling. They don't try to eliminate pressure, they try to channel it. Because pressure isn't your enemy, it's your hidden engine that, when used correctly, propels you to the top. When pressure builds, many people go into fight or flight mode. But the first thing you need to do isn't fight it. It's learn to channel it through your body. The most practical way to do this is to move. Take a deep breath, extend your arms, throw your shoulders back, and bounce lightly on your toes. The purpose of these movements isn't to eliminate stress. It's to prevent energy from getting trapped in your body and instead to allow it to flow. That's why champions don't run from pressure. They work with it. Because pressure is actually a form of self-confidence. Self-confidence. No matter how much pressure you're under, there's a pool of energy within you that you know you can control. Some people look forward to high-stakes moments because they know that their best performance will come at precisely these moments. As the stakes increase, their ability to focus sharpens. The pressure actually carries a very important message. That moment truly matters to you. So instead of being overwhelmed by the pressure, think of it as a message. This is important to you. Here you have the opportunity to improve. Here you have the chance to prove yourself. Those who interpret this message correctly transform pressure into motivation. They don't panic when a difficult moment arrives. They become deeply aware of the critical moment. Champions also know the timing of pressure. Pressure is at its strongest just before the fight begins. This period is called the building phase. The energy flowing through your body increases, your heart races, and your breathing changes. Many people try to remain calm during this phase, but this is a big mistake. Trying to remain calm means suppressing the energy that's generated. But the key is to accept this activation and channel it into performance at the right moment. This is where a very powerful tool comes into play: pressure rehearsal, or mental rehearsal. Picture yourself under intense pressure often. You're on stage, taking an exam, in a competition about to begin, about to make an important decision. Feel the activation the pressure creates in your body, and imagine using this energy to deliver an extraordinary performance. This practice completely changes the perception of pressure as an enemy. Your mind begins to think, this feeling isn't a threat. It's a sign that I'm ready. Pressure also fuels your competitive spirit. It allows you to tap into your deepest inner motivations. Why is this important to you? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to prove to whom? These questions empower you when faced with pressure, because pressure is a gateway to your true purpose. Some people wish the pressure would go away, but champions know that the goal isn't to eliminate it. The goal is to use it to achieve what's necessary. Because many of the best performances occur when the pressure is at its peak. After a while, you begin to feel the pressure empowering you. You no longer resist it, you embrace it. This transforms an enemy's pressure into an ally. Remember, using pressure as fuel is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with repetition. The more you practice and confront pressure, the more naturally you'll use it. Over time, you'll even begin to miss those high-pressure moments because that's where your true potential shines. When the going gets tough, everyone turns to you. Because someone who has learned to turn pressure into strength is the most stable person in difficult times. Let's end this section with these words. Pressure isn't meant to break you. It's meant to show your true strength. Chapter 5. Optimal arousal. Not too relaxed, not too tense. Mental tension triggers physical tension, which further constricts the mind. Most people oscillate between two extremes when under pressure, either completely relaxed, impairing performance, or overly tense, losing the ability to think clearly. But the goal isn't complete relaxation, but a state of controlled alertness. Think of a cat. Before you pounce, it appears relaxed, yet poised. This relaxed alertness is the physical state the human mind needs under pressure. Not too relaxed, not too tense. It's the perfect middle ground. 2. The power of breath. The secret remote control that controls the nervous system. Your breathing pattern is the fastest line of communication between your brain and body. Shallow, rapid breathing equals stress response. Deep, controlled breathing equals calm alertness. Champions don't memorize this. They train it. The 4-7-8 technique in particular is the gold standard for coping with stress. Inhale through the nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. Exhale through the mouth for 8 seconds. This technique relaxes the body while leaving the mind completely open. If practiced regularly, it automatically works when stress rises. 3. Muscle management. Feel, teach, and release tension. Progressive muscle relaxation is the most effective way to cope with physical conditions. From toes to head, tense each muscle group for 5 seconds, then quickly release. This process teaches the body the difference between tension and relaxation. The next step is differential relaxation. Keep necessary muscles active while relaxing unnecessary muscles. Shoulders relaxed, jaw relaxed, but the torso balanced and active. This is exactly what masters do when they are stressed. 4. Postural psychology. The secret message you send to your brain. Your posture directly affects your inner state of mind. Slumped posture, brain defeat signal. Overcontracted posture, overstress signal. Ideal posture. Upright but relaxed, tense but fluid. Head up, shoulders back, chest open, feet firmly on the floor. This body position anchors you to the ground and allows you to focus on the moment. When your mind wanders under pressure, your posture becomes an anchor, calling you back to center. 5. Physical endurance training. Conscious stress. Champions don't just apply stress theoretically. They teach their bodies how to apply it. Heat training. Working in hot environments forces the body to maintain performance even under physical stress. This is reflected in psychological stress. Cold exposure, cold showers, ice baths. The initial shock triggers the stress response, but learning to remain calm through controlled breathing trains the nervous system. The body eliminates the active equals panic connection. Instead, it establishes the active equals controlled power connection. 6. Microsensory awareness. The ability to notice subtle tension. Tension under pressure doesn't build suddenly. it builds gradually. If you don't notice it, it explodes. If you notice it, you can prevent it. Body scans allow you to instantly notice small tensions. This awareness releases microtension, which negatively impacts performance, even when the pressure is high. 7. Applying movement patterns under stress. Many people stiffen under pressure. The secret of champions is the opposite. They practice fluid, flexible, and controlled movements even when the nervous system is active. In this way, regardless of the internal state, the body behaves in a balanced manner externally. 8. Recovery breath. Instantly restarting performance. Under prolonged pressure, micro breaks are crucial. Even a short cycle of deep breathing can reset the nervous system. This prevents tension from building up and keeps the mind clear. Feedback technologies like BOF help a person consciously manage their physical state by monitoring their pulse, breathing, and muscle tension. 9. Body-mind integration, the greatest hidden mechanism. This is where the real magic happens. Focusing the mind when the body is under pressure. Maintaining physical coordination when the mind is under pressure. This two-way training builds extraordinary resilience under pressure. When body and mind work in sync, your performance remains consistent, no matter how high the pressure. 10. Positive self-talk, becoming your own best coach. How would you talk to a friend who made a mistake? With kindness, encouragement, and honesty. This is how you should treat yourself. This maintains self-confidence and accelerates recovery. Remember, one mistake does not define you. One moment does not erase all your achievements. And those who have not lost their minds under pressure know this best. Chapter 6. Dealing with mistakes and building mental toughness. 1. Understanding that mistakes don't define you. The greatest secret of true champions is to view mistakes not as personal defeats, but as small stops on a long journey. When you make a mistake, it doesn't invalidate your talent or value. It's a single data point amidst years of preparation and hard work. That's why champions develop a mindset, error immunity. This immunity isn't about ignoring mistakes. On the contrary, it's about placing the mental value of mistakes in their proper place. The foundation of your talent lies not in a single moment of performance, but in your discipline, preparation, routine, attitude, and capacity for resilience. This mindset creates a psychological armor that makes it impossible to die with one mistake. 2. Most mistakes are not about you. Sometimes you do everything right, but the outcome is wrong, because not every mistake is within your control. Circumstances change, environmental factors come into play, and luck plays a role. Therefore, trying to take responsibility for every mistake depletes your self-confidence. Champions recognize mistakes caused by external factors and don't view them as personal shortcomings. This approach strengthens their self-confidence because mistakes are a natural part of the game, not a failure of skill. 3. Viewing recovery as a victory. The behavior you exhibit after a mistake is far more important than the mistake itself. If you make a mistake, take a deep breath, regroup, and get back in the game. That's true success. There's a concept for champions called recovery victory, because someone who can recover doesn't fall apart, no matter how big the mistake. These small victories build a tremendous foundation of self-confidence over time. 4. Accepting that performance is a continuum. Your worst performance doesn't define you, and neither does your best. True talent lies somewhere in between. Your worst day doesn't make you a bad person, and your best day doesn't make you a miraculous hero. Therefore, it's unnecessary to attach emotional value to a single day, a single moment, or a single mistake. This understanding reduces emotional instability during times of pressure and leads to more consistent performance. 5. Mental rehearsal before mistakes. One powerful technique used by champions is rehearsing as if a mistake is about to happen. This involves mentally rehearsing possible scenarios before an actual mistake occurs, planning how you will react and how you will recover. This way, your mind won't panic when a mistake occurs, because you've experienced it before and know what to do. This technique puts you on autopilot in the event of a mistake, allowing you to recover without damaging your confidence. 6. Adapting to long-term pressure. Short-term stress is manageable for most people, but pressure that lasts for hours, days, or even weeks, that's where true mental strength comes into play. Your mind is like a muscle. If you don't exercise it systematically, it will tire when you need it most. The mistake most people make is to expend mental energy uncontrollably. They expend excessive attention and emotional energy on even small, unnecessary, and unimportant decisions, leaving them exhausted at critical moments. Champions strategically conserve their mental energy. They reduce unnecessary decisions, automate routine tasks, and consciously shift their focus cycles. 7. Micro-recovery rituals. The key to staying strong during prolonged periods of pressure is taking small mental breaks. These include 10 deep breaths, closing your eyes for 30 seconds, a quick body scan, a brief mindfulness break. These micro-recoveries prevent mental burnout and revitalize your focus. 8. Adjusting your mental pace. Just as a long-distance runner doesn't expend all their energy in the first kilometer, mental toughness relies on the same principle. It's impossible to maintain maximum focus all the time. Therefore, high focus is necessary at certain moments and low focus at others. Champions know which segments require high intensity and which don't. This provides balanced, long-lasting mental energy. 9. Mental nutrition and energy management. Your brain needs energy. When your glucose levels drop, you become dehydrated, or your sleep is interrupted, your mental stamina collapses. Therefore, champions, maintain glucose balance with small, frequent meals. Never allow yourself to become dehydrated. Build sleep banks before stressful periods. Practice sleep hygiene. Mental strength is biologically based. Chapter 7. Building unwavering self-confidence. 1. Self-confidence strengthens under pressure. True self-confidence is built not in moments of ease, but in those moments when pressure corners you and challenges your mind. Every time you succeed in a difficult situation, your inner sense of "I can do this" strengthens. When you experience a setback, you not only solve the problem, but also gain proof of your own resilience. 2. Strengthening the resilience muscle. As you cope with the unexpected, your ability to adapt strengthens. This process gives you a pressure history, like a bank account. Every time you overcome a challenging situation, you deposit more money into your confidence account. This is called confidence banking. Every success you record is tangible proof you can refer to when in doubt. 3. The power of mental affirmations. Champions know this. Self-confidence isn't about being perfect. It's not about believing you'll never make mistakes. but about knowing you can overcome every mistake you make. That's why self-talk is so important. Professionals use specific affirmations to calm themselves under pressure. These aren't empty words of motivation, but personal, evidence-based reminders of their abilities. 4. Self-confidence comes from authentic competence. The most reliable source of self-confidence is authentic competence, knowing what you're doing, achieving repeatable successes. But it's not just about technical skill. Mental toughness, error management, focus under pressure, adaptability. These are all part of competence. As you hone your skills, self-confidence naturally grows. 5. Visualizing powerful performance. Champions visualize themselves not only succeeding, but also reacting successfully under pressure. They mentally rehearse how to remain calm when things go wrong, and how to focus more when the pressure mounts. This repetition makes self-confidence automatic in real life. 6. Developing situational self-confidence. Professionals prepare specifically for the types of pressure they will face. If they're speaking in front of a crowd, they simulate an audience. If they're under time pressure, they practice within a limited time frame. If criticism is to be received, tolerance for negative feedback develops. This way, pressure becomes a familiar guest, not an unknown threat. 7. Seeing pressure as an opportunity, not a threat. When you stop viewing pressure as an enemy, your self-confidence begins to accelerate. You no longer see difficult situations as things that can wear you down, but as opportunities to prove yourself. This shift in perspective transforms pressure from an enemy of self-confidence into something that strengthens it. 8. Confidence, acceleration, strength, fueled by success. Success breeds success. Each positive pressure experience facilitates the next. Each time you handle stress well, you provide yourself with the proof, I can do it again. This creates an upward spiral of self-confidence. Self-confidence is no longer dependent on external factors. It becomes a strength that comes from within. 9. The inner impact of body language. Using a confident posture, movement, and expression, even under pressure. It's not just putting on an act. Scientifically, body posture affects mental state. When you stand upright, you feel stronger. That's why champions train their bodies as a physical tool for self-confidence. 10. Self-confidence as an identity. Self-confidence isn't just about what you do. It's about who you are. When you feel pressure, you don't say, I wish this pressure wasn't there. You say, this is my space. Difficult situations don't threaten you. They affirm who you are. This is the most important foundation of unwavering self-confidence. 11. Realistic and optimistic self-confidence. Low self-confidence is just as detrimental as overconfidence. Champions are aware of their true capacities, but maintain faith in their potential. They know what they are and see what they can become. The balance of these two makes self-confidence unbreakable. 12. Achieving instant self-confidence with the anchor technique. Certain physical postures, certain mental images, or a specific breathing rhythm. Through repetition, your brain associates these with the self-confidence mode. When pressure mounts, this anchor instantly propels you to a powerful level of performance. This is the true secret of champions' ability to maintain composure even in times of crisis. 13. Multi-layered self-confidence. True self-confidence isn't based on a single source. Technical skill, experience, preparation, mental toughness, a support system. It's all built upon layers. Even if one layer is damaged, the others will sustain you. This is why professionals are so resolute. Chapter 8. Preparation, the foundation of success. Champions don't expect their best. They expect it, train for it, prepare for it. They visualize every step. Reaching the top isn't just about talent. It's also about developing mental skills in advance. A moment under pressure doesn't intimidate them. On the contrary, it's an opportunity to showcase their true strength. 2. Pressure instincts, reacting without thinking. True mastery lies in reacting correctly without thinking. Instincts are not innate reflexes, but automatic responses developed through conscious training and repetition. Champions switch to performance breathing when they feel their heart rate increase. When they make a mistake, they automatically implement recovery protocols. This unconscious competence allows them to act correctly under pressure without thinking. 3. Repetition and overcoming. The power of instincts. Pressure instincts are etched into the subconscious mind through thousands of repetitions. Champions anticipate every possible pressure situation, identify the most appropriate responses, and automate them. Fatigue, distraction, or stress cannot inhibit these responses. This unconventional technique makes your reactions reliable, even in the most challenging circumstances. 4. Intuitive decision-making, feeling, instead of analysis. Instincts encompass not only physical, but also mental decision-making processes. In complex and uncertain situations, champions intuit the right course of action thanks to their intuition. While analytical thinking can be slow, instinctive execution guarantees excellent performance. Decisions made under pressure are best made without conscious control. 5. Pressure and flow. Optimal performance. Pressure is not an obstacle to performance, but a driving force. When pressure increases, champions automatically enter a state of flow. Stimuli such as crowds, light, and heartbeat become signals of optimal performance rather than fear. Instincts must be flexible enough to adapt to different circumstances. Every pressure situation is an opportunity to improve your performance. 6. Unconscious development and instinctual validation. Mistakes aren't catastrophic for champions. They're corrected by automatic recovery protocols. You gain credibility by testing your instincts in real-world pressure situations. This process encompasses both technical and communication skills. You intuitively know how to communicate with your teammates or take on a leadership role under pressure. 7. Turning pressure into an advantage. Overcoming pressure isn't about fighting it, but about turning it into a competitive advantage. Champions achieve levels of performance that ordinary people can't achieve through pressure. Increased focus, energy, and awareness produce results that would otherwise seem impossible. Pressure accelerates learning, fosters innovation, and builds leadership and credibility. 8. Pressure positioning and opportunism. Instead of avoiding high risk, pressure should be actively sought. Champions use pressure strategically to create advantage. This is a catalyst that not only enhances performance, but also develops skill, mental toughness, and leadership abilities. The opportunities provided by pressure differentiate you from your competitors. 9. Pressure, transcending the ordinary. Pressure is where ordinary people struggle, and extraordinary people become legendary. Champions don't control pressure. They embrace it. They create it. They manage it. When everything is at stake, Critical talents emerge with crystal clarity. Focus, energy, and creativity are maximized. Pressure becomes a catalyst for performance. 10. The pinnacle of pressure. Mastery. The pinnacle of turning pressure to your advantage makes you a master of pressure. The ability to act without thinking, automatically respond optimally, and demonstrate leadership is the ultimate level of mental performance mastery. While others struggle to resist pressure, turn it into success. Pressure is no longer an obstacle. It's a tool that elevates you.